Hello, and welcome to Aptify with Christopher Hunter. This is part 2 of Aptify Applications and Services. We're going to finish up by going over how you can create and customize applications and the services they offer. Quick note before we jump into Aptify, you will require the Aptify desktop. That's due to the fact that the form component that the applications record uses right now has not been converted to Aptify Web yet. Second reason is if this is the first time you're accessing the application's service, you will require an admin or developer license. This is because by default, the application service is found under the framework or the developer application. But once you get in there once, you can add it to any application you want. So with that, let's jump into Aptify. Okay. Here we are in the Aptify desktop. I'm going to access the applications from the development application because it's right here, nice and simple. I've already got myself an all view, and you can see all the pretty applications there are by default. But let's create a new one. So, very simple form. It's very simple. Parent. It does support parent-child relationships. It's more for a data perspective. It doesn't actually change the fundamental way the application's folder lists work or the folder lists on Aptify Web work. This is purely for your own knowledge. Let's call this basic worker, currently active, basic worker, and I'm already breaking my own personal ways of doing stuff. I like to do names without spaces, as I use them more as codes if you ever need them for SQL or such. Display culture strings if you're doing localization. The culture strings all play in here. Icon, HTML class, icon, large icons. So the icons are going to be for the desktop application. That's where you're actually going to have to go into your object repo and pick out any PNG, ICO, JPEG that you've uploaded. The icon HTML class, this is for Aptify Web, and that's these icons inside here. So Aptify Web uses Font Awesome as its iconography, which is great because it's one single icon font library, and it's amazing font library. But when you go to look these up, you must go for Font Awesome 4.7. And I'll make sure this link is in the video description below. But once you get to the 4.7, you can go over to the icons. And here you can search for anything. Let's do what comes up for work. There we are. We'll do a code fork just because. And what you want is this class right here. So we're going to grab that guy. And because we mostly only care for Aptify Web right now, we're just going to do the Aptify Web. You do have a description here. You can throw in a description if you wish. And the help object stuff, at this point in time, I don't think it does anything anymore. You've also got user permissions and group permissions. So user permissions will allow you to lock this application to only those users. Same thing with group permissions. You can lock down it to any group. We're just going to add users. Now you're going to notice this entities is blanked out. That's because you must save the record first. And once it's saved, entities becomes active. And from here, now we've got a listing of all the top level entities. Remember, you cannot put subtypes as services for applications. You can only do their top level entities. So we created this one as a basic worker. So let's say, where's companies? We'll add companies. We'll add contact logs. Yeah, what other fun stuff can we add in here? Oh, education units. Where'd that go? Education units. Let's say, and we'll leave it there. Where's persons? I know my alphabet. Persons. So once you select them all, give a quick savey save. It's going to do its thing. Okay. So now that we've got this basic worker all set up, we can go back to Aptify. Go manage applications. Here we are. We've got basic worker. We can add basic worker to our list. Now we've got basic worker, and see we've got the nice little forky fork icon there. Then we can go into basic worker. There it goes. And we've got companies, contact logs, education units, and persons. So that's the main basic way of managing your applications. There is a second way, which I'm going to show you very quickly here. So back into Aptify. And this is more the real developer administrator way to do it. So say persons, it's like which applications is persons on, or you need to quick add it to an application. Instead of going into applications, what you can do is you can actually pop into the entity record itself. And then every entity has this little applications tab. And this is the vice versa control. This does not work in Aptify Web because it's this little fun checkbox list control. This lists all the applications and which applications persons is already on. So if you did want to add persons somewhere else, or you had to add it to a few of them, you can add it to the few of them and then save the entity. And you notice this isn't doing any crazy processing of the entity because you are just changing the application. So it's not like it's going through and redoing the whole entity schema and all that, which a lot of things you do in the entity does. So this is a very safe thing to do, saving an entity, especially with something like persons. Right. That's it for today's episode. Hit that subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, all that YouTube fun. Head over to Aptify Connect, and we'll talk to you next time.